Yo, what up, guys? We are back on that Limited Tundra's YouTube channel. My name is Marcos, for those of you that are tuning in for the first time. For those of you that are back, hey, I appreciate you guys tuning in. If you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. Bringing plenty of First Gen Tundra content. Got plenty of things that I want to do to the truck this year, and hopefully we will get them knocked out. So, as I've talked about in a couple of previous videos, I mentioned doing a review of my Sentry cap that I have on my truck. I figured I'd go ahead and kind of give you guys some insight. For those of you that don't follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is Marcos_1296. So if you like what you see from the truck and you want to see more of it, that's where I constantly post pictures or stories of it. You're more than welcome to give me a follow. Send me a DM. Tell me you saw me on YouTube and followed my Instagram account, and I'll be sure to give you guys a follow back. So basically, I own a 2004 Toyota Tundra double cab, for those of you that don't know, and I use this truck as my daily driver and my landscape work truck. So I can't run a cap full time year round. It gets in the way too much for me. I usually have the truck with just a toolbox on the back for work, and the reason that I bought this cap was actually for trips to Mexico. So for those of you that are new here, you'll see that I've been posting some videos about like the carnage and stuff that's happened this trip to on this trip to my truck. This is the fourth trip that I took the truck down there, and the first trip that I took my truck down, prior to my truck going, we used to take my dad's First Gen, and we would always take his truck with just our luggage in the back, tarp it, cargo net, and hit the road. We did that one time with my truck, and I didn't like it at all. So the following year, my cousin went to Mexico, but I didn't. And when he got back, we hanged out at his house, and I just happened to scope Craigslist, and like always, you tend to find stuff when you're not looking for it. So that day I found it. It was like 2 hours away from me. The guy, he was asking $300 for it, and I asked him if he would hold on to it for me until the following weekend, because that was a Sunday and it was already pretty late. And he was like, yeah, no problem. He's like, I'll hold it for you, just make me an offer. And I was like, oh shit, you know, I was planning on paying you the full $300, but I offered him just $275, and he was like, yeah, that's fine, it'll be here next weekend whenever you're ready to come. So sure enough, my buddies and I, next weekend, all hopped in the truck, made the drive down to Columbus, Georgia, picked it up, installed it on the truck, drove back home. So I lucked out. Here's my truck, 04 Limited, and happened to find a color matched cap that was intended for a double cab. So this isn't a Lear or an ARE, but instead it's a Sentry. I'm gonna show you guys a little plate wherever it's at. Try to pause it and see numbers in case you come across one that you want to verify that it is for a double cab. Things that I've noticed about caps that are intended for double cabs is they always have a little bit of like overhang. Meanwhile, the Axis cab ones tend to sit completely on top of the bed rails. So, so far the cap has been great for me. I've always just installed it in usually like mid-December, take it off mid-January. Excuse the wheels, these are a set of wheels that I'm flipping. And you know, I haven't had any issues out of it until this trip in Mexico, but even the issues that I did have out of it weren't big. When I got it, this side latched fine, this side didn't. I dropped it off at the dealer and let them do some stuff to it, because it needed, it didn't come with locks or keys, so I had them install a new lock, adjust all the cables, and they spaced this out to where now it closes like really, really well. So the issues that I had this time were, this is an aluminum like frame that goes all the way across, and just a self-tapper screw backed out, and this ended up falling. I found a little bit of a thicker screw, but I ended up, I still need to go and find one, but that's actually a little bit longer, and do the same thing to the bottom. And then also, as mentioned in one of my previous videos, this bracket that holds a little shock, the rivets just completely broke one day when I went to close it. So when I got back home, I just screwed it back on with some self-tapping screws. You can see the fitment. Paint isn't great. I always store this on a stand, but where I used to store it, there used to be trees, and it went like 2 years without me covering it up, and that did a number on the paint. So since I don't run it full year, like year round, I'm not too worried about it. Things that I've done, like I said, we changed out the lock to a newer style. The little emblem fell off, but this is the new style Sentry. The old style Sentry is like a little shield, but luckily the square was big enough to overlap it. And the other thing that I did was that I tinted these side windows with 2.5% tint. I think I just got that like at Walmart and did it myself with some buddies. And that's made it to where even like during the day, the back glass is just the privacy glass that the cap came with, but you can't see in it at all, which is what I wanted for our luggage in Mexico. Like during the day, no matter what angle you try to look in, it's like paint. So one of the things that I really like about the Sentry cap versus the AREs or the Lears is the actual shape at the rear. This is like actually round, goes really well with the body lines. I've seen some AREs and some Lears that are like a little bit too, they look like a trapezoid in the back, just like too squared off. I don't think it flows with the body lines of the truck as well. You can kind of see what I'm talking about, the shape of it. I've never had any issues with like the fiberglass cracking or anything. One thing that I really do want to do to the cap is that I would like to install a roof rack on the top so I can just sport a like a luggage carrier, like an SUV luggage carrier. If you have any experience with that, I have a system, a Yakima rack system in mind, but if you know anything about that, if I need to reinforce this with like any kind of aluminum bracing or an aluminum frame from the inside, or if it's just a bad idea in general, let me know. Like I said, I don't run this thing year round or anything like that. I'm not going to be putting any kind of crazy weight on it, but I would need it to hold a luggage carrier, let's say 100 pounds in the luggage carrier tops, and be able to withstand 80 to 90 mile per hour at for like hours. So if it's something that you potentially see the fiberglass cracking, if you have experience with fiberglass, let me know. Gives it a really clean look. At one point when I had just my truck tinted out, and the cap wasn't tinted out, it looked really goofy. Like I said, I can't run it year round because I normally always have that landscape trailer hooked up to the truck several days a week. And there are some times where I'm getting home like at 8 p.m. or, you know, once winter starts to come around, even like at 6, if I get home at 6, it's already dark. So with the tint and the tint on the truck, I can't see jack squat when I'm backing up. Even if I roll down the back window on the truck, I just can't see out of the cap. And also like climbing in and out to get tools, if I leave my toolbox in my truck and just like leave it perpendicular to how you normally leave a truck toolbox, climbing in and out, I've hit my head like a number of times and it just gets super annoying. But for anybody looking for a cap for their truck, the one thing I can say is stop looking. You'll find it when you stop looking. And if you find a Sentry, I would not turn it down. I would run it. I've been able to get parts at a Lear dealership for it, so finding parts for them is not hard. As long as it has the little VIN number on top, they should be able to get it, no problem. And also for those wondering, you can run an access cab cap on a double cab and you'll hang off like an inch, because I think the access cab beds are like an inch longer. But the double cab ones, you probably still be able to run it on an access cab, no problem. I would at least give it a shot if the camper isn't too far away, like that you find on like Facebook Marketplace or Craigslist. Just ask them, you know, if you could do like a test fit or whatever. And also it came with clamps, but the one thing that I noticed, and I don't know if anybody else has noticed this, but if I run just the clamp on the fiberglass, they always tend to back off. Like they go moving little by little. If I just use some small shims of wood, don't ever have that issue, and it spaces out the pressure a lot more. And then just every time that I install, I just got to squeeze it shut, which that's pretty normal to have to do with the cap. But yeah, guys, that is a review of this. Oh, before I forget, the one complaint that I would honestly say that I have from this cap is this. The little butterfly windows open, and it's probably just the fact that I don't grease it or something, but the little arms, whenever you leave it open for a minute, it's always the top one. You go to close it and the little roller tends to stick, and then the little arm gets bent because it's just aluminum. It starts to flex. You got to kind of like go and like push it with the finger, but it has pretty sharp edges, kind of hurts to push. But once you push it, it starts rolling and moving, and then you can close the little butterfly windows. The front window folds all the way down. You can unlatch it and fold it straight down, or you can slide the middle slider off to the sides. My dog rode back here, and then the last trip to Mexico I did, and my little brother did too. And luckily it wasn't too hot in Mexico at all this year when we were driving, but just with the little butterfly vents open and that front window, the middle one slid over just like 2-3 inches, there was more than enough air circulation in here. The times that I've camped in here, there's definitely like gaps like right there, you know. It's not like sealed perfectly. I mean, even just the tailgate in general, but I've slept in there. I've never had any like water get in to where it's dripping on me or anything like that. Far better than a ground tent. A truck tent, I think I'd probably take a truck tent too. It wouldn't be an issue. A rooftop tent would be sick, but I don't use it enough to justify that. But other than that, I would give this cap a 9 out of 10. The only thing that I would change would be that. And like I said, if I could get a roof rack on it. Like I said, for anybody looking for one, I definitely wouldn't stray from a Sentry. I would definitely keep my mind open to one if I saw one on a classifieds like Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, saw one like at your local dealer. I wouldn't just be stuck to ARE or Lear. I think it has to do a lot with the fact that the size of this, because of this cap and bed length. For me, I can lift it with 3 people, install it with 3 people, but it's more comfortable to do so with 4. Meanwhile, some of my friends, we can lift up their caps on their short beds with just 2 people perfectly fine. So just something to keep in mind. If you decide to go pick one up, I would definitely take help with you to load it up, and then if you need to unload it, same thing. So with that being said, I appreciate you guys tuning in. Any other requests that you guys want to see, drop them down in the comments. Let me know what you want to see, and we will get to that. And like I said, stay tuned. Hopefully a lot to come for the truck this year. I hope that for anybody that has been going through what the majority of us are dealing with here in America, I hope everything's going well for you guys' families, and push through. We will hopefully have a great year this year in lawn care, which will mean money to play with for the truck. So I appreciate all you guys watching. Hit that like button, share, subscribe, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.